The very essence of the mental game is this. The only reason an event matters is because we make it matter.
Welcome to the Mullins Ferrier Podcast, where I will sit down and converse with the superstars, the overachievers, the masters of our craft. Each episode will be a deep dive into their personal philosophies, their habits, the tools they use, and the secrets to not only their success, but overcoming failure as well.
First, find somebody you can mimic, then find somebody you can stand, and then try to focus on one style until you master that style.
So if you say I can't do something, well, you're absolutely right. But if you say you're going to, you're absolutely right with that too.
People say that you shouldn't define yourself by your work. That is not true.
You know what Dave Farley does when he's, lucky enough to be at the World Equestrian Games? I'm watching other people work.
Yeah.
I don't think we do that enough.
This podcast is for all of you out there who share my passion for the job and the desire to always improve. These interviews will put you in touch with the inner workings of the role models we all want to emulate. So let's get to it.
There's only so many hours in a day, and it's a matter of what you do with them.
Welcome, everyone. A little shopkeeping before we start. The next webinar in Dr. Simon Curtis's fall series is coming up on Wednesday, November the 2nd. The title of this one is Equine Locomotion, with speakers Sarah Hobbs, Hillary Clayton, and Simon Curtis himself. The only reason we have horses is because they move, and so locomotion is at the heart of all hoof care. You need to understand locomotion to understand how your trimming and shoeing can have an impact upon movement. As with the previous webinars, listeners to this podcast can get a discount on tickets by typing in MULLINS as the discount code upon checkout. As I've said before, all of Simon's webinars have been really informative and shouldn't be missed. As I record this, I'm packing up and getting ready to head to England to hang out with my friend and fellow podcaster, Danny Bennett. It looks like Danny has me signed up for several interviews with some legends over there. So look for those in the coming months, and keep an eye on the Lockdown Farrier Podcast Facebook page, as well as my own, as we will be trying to put up some content leading up to and during the International Shoeing Competition at Stoneleigh and the BFBA Focus Convention. If you're going to be there, please seek us out and say hi. Today's guest is someone I truly look up to. He has pushed himself to pursue and achieve many certifications in our profession. And the whole time that he has been on that journey, he has willingly shared his knowledge and mentored many on the same path. Emilio Giannotti, AWCF CJF TE, and ASF, is a humble man, but an incredible talent in the forge and a wealth of knowledge. We only had a short window of time in which to do the interview down in the Heartland, but I'm glad I finally was able to get him to sit down for a few minutes and have a chat. I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I did. All right, so I am sitting here with Emilio Giannotti.
Yes, sir.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Or remotely close?
Giannotti.
There we go. Perfect. Who is an AWCF, all the way from Argentina. He came to visit us here this week and has helped me out immensely and many of the students. And that was kind of my jumping off point that I wanted to ask you. What brings you up here? Like, I know you're learning as well, but you impart so much information on us when you're here. Where do you think the drive to do that comes from?
Well, when I decided to make a living out of shoeing horses, I was on the second year of vet school.
Okay.
At that point, I was like, I'm going to shoe horses. I'm not going to work as a vet.
Really?
Yeah, that was second year of veterinarian school, because I saw that the veterinarians were lacking the skill of, they were asking things to be done but they were not able to show you how to get them done.
Right.
And I thought that you need to be able to show and to really explain what you are asking to be done. So that was my drive at that point. And I don't know, I really enjoy sharing what I can. I don't see myself as a teacher. I just share whatever I can. And I keep coming here to the Gregory's because I feel like they're the best tune-up that you can get, and they just pump you up with like energy to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You can have down times and then you come here and all of a sudden you're inspired again in your day-to-day work.
That's what I get. I really try to come here as often as I can. Like, at least my goal is to come here once a year. And this is a great week, the pre-cert.
Yeah, for sure. It's always a good group, and everybody's trying to help each other out. And you have quite the journey to even get here.
Well, yeah. I knew about Gregory's school, Chris, in 2019. One of his first students was from Argentina.
Oh, okay.
And that was, I think he was here in 1996. I think it was the second year they had the school open up. And he was doing clinics in Argentina, and I took 2 clinics with him. And on the second clinic, he's like, if you really want to shoe horses, if you're going to go serious about this, you need to go to Heartland Horseshoeing School. So that was my goal after university, to come here, but I couldn't make it because economy problems in our government. It took me, I come here the first time, it was 2017.
Oh, okay.
It was a long time.
Yeah. So how did that progression work? You graduated from vet school, and were you working full-time as a vet and then doing shoeing on the side, or
no,
how did that work?
I graduated on a Wednesday. I took my last test, and I got an offer the next Monday to come to the States. And that was 2002. So months after I graduated, I just come here and I start shoeing horses. I was nailing shoes on. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest, but I thought I knew, and I think that's why I did it. Right. If I knew better, I wouldn't got that courage to just shoe horses.
Okay. Yeah. And the offer to come here, was that to work with somebody or just to shoe horses for people?
No, it was there was a guy that an Argentine guy that was playing polo here. He was looking for someone to shoe for his team.
Oh, okay.
So I came to work for them.
Right. And then where did you go from there?
Oh, well, I keep working for him, and he did the working visa for me, and I keep coming for him, and he had a big family. Actually, 4 of his sons, they are still polo players today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm still shoeing for them. Like, I'm still working with them. We become good friends. And
okay. That's really cool. So, and you would shoe them in Argentina and then shoe them here as well?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes. I've been with them since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before coming here, how did you learn to shoe?
I didn't. I was involved in horses. I always loved horses, and nobody in my family is involved in horses, but somehow I just got pulled towards them. And I have horses. I was helping out a farrier when I was 11, just holding the horse, and then I started holding the legs. And when I was, I will say 14 or 15, I didn't have any money to pay for the farrier, so I just started tucking shoes on. Like,
Really?
Yeah, they were like, I have a shoe, a nail, and hammer, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
It took me forever, but that's how I started. And I really like it somehow. It was just...
You were hooked. Yeah. That's neat. And then at some point, you started working with Red.
My first year in Florida, in Wellington, I met Red Ranching.
Yeah.
And he was just... If anyone that knew him, like, you can say that he was great. Like, he will be open up and he will show you whatever he knows. And so next year, he was looking for a helper for Florida. I was like, I can do that. So I worked with him for 3 winters down there in Florida. And that was just amazing.
Wow.
He was a great, great teacher. And really smart guy about how to shoe horses and how to make a living and how to deal with customers. He told me a lot.
Right. Now, what were some of the lessons that you got from him?
Some things that I really remember, like one day he's like, okay, come here and look at this horse. It's a new horse of one of his customers. And he was like, tell me what you need to do. And I was like, well, you have to trim here and there and take this off. And he's like, if they ask you to shoe a horse, doesn't mean that you have to trim the horse. Not every time that you shoe the horse, you have to trim. You maybe just have to fix a shoe and one shoe is twisted and that's all you have to do. For me, shoeing was like, I need to trim. There has to be food on the ground after. Like, I don't mind if it's blood with the food, but it has to be some on the ground.
Great.
So that was a big thing that stand up for me always. And another thing he said, like, you guys have a problem. You shoe the horse, and after you get your shop done, you talk about the price.
Yeah.
And with that situation, there's one part that is going to be unhappy, either you or the one that is paying. So he told me, like, you need to, before you do the shop, you need to talk about how much is that going to be or what are the options for the shop. And it doesn't sound too big, but I think it's big.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah. And were you able to work with other folks while you were down there?
Yeah, I have met, because of Red, I met like Dave Farley. I have seen him working on like every day, Arnie Gervasio, Gilchrist or...
Oh, yeah. Gilchrist, yep.
Yeah, I tried to watch many guys. Some of them, they never knew that I was watching, but I just tried.
Quietly watching in the background.
Yeah, I tried to stay on the back and watch.
Yeah. So then bringing all of that information back home, how do you think it changed what you did back home? And then what is your shoeing situation back home? What are you mainly taking care of? And
it has changed a lot through the years. And my shoeing has been changing a lot through the years. And I think that's something that has to happen.
Yeah.
If you don't change through the year, it means that you are not learning. So right now I'm mainly doing champers and some polo horses and some broodmares for thoroughbreds. My shoeing has become easier on my body.
Okay.
It's a big change and I like it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? But what are some of the things that changed to make it easier on you?
I think there was a point where I understood how to trim a foot to the shape that the foot has to have and how to reproduce that on the anvil. That was a big change.
Yeah.
I think when I understood, and this is Cody and Chris' fault, if you want to name it like that. But this is one thing that I learned here with them, and it took me sometimes. Whenever the way I learn is you will tell me something, and I need to go and get it done. And sometimes I think you are telling me wrong, so I'm gonna go and do it my way until I realize I am wrong. But they show me how to look at the lateral toe and the medial toe, the difference there. It took me sometimes to see it, but it make a change. Even on my feet, it make a big change.
Yeah.
On the shape and the structure. They stress you a lot about learning anatomy.
Yes.
That's a big thing for Chris and Cody. And I think it's the basic.
Yeah.
You cannot shoe horses if you don't know the anatomy.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, you can shoe them in quotations without knowing the anatomy for an entire career. And there have been lots of people I've run into where they say, I don't need to know that stuff. Look, I'm making money. And
Yeah. I think horses are forgiven.
Yeah.
That's huge, big time.
I think that's what got me through the first several years of my career.
Wow,
right?
I think it got me through like at least my 12 years of my career.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you do see those changes as you develop. You see the feet get better.
And anatomy-wise, I knew the anatomy because I went through the university, but I didn't understand the anatomy.
Like the applications.
The applications. For me, anatomy was something pretty abstract.
Yeah.
It was just, you need to learn this, memorize it, and that's it. But then they put it in a way that it has a meaning, right? It has a sense. So that's when I understood anatomy.
Yeah. Now, can you give maybe an example, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, where knowing the anatomy in thinking about your day-to-day stuff or how you apply shoes really comes into play for you?
For me, one big thing is like hoof dressing. I see that some guys, they have the idea that you have to rasp from heel to heel, coronary band to the bottom, like every time you shoot a horse.
Yep.
And I don't think that even look pretty. I don't think it looks good. And I used to do it.
Yeah.
I used to do it that way. I used to rasp from the coronary band to the bottom, heel to heel.
Nice, perfect straight line, right?
When I stopped doing that and I understood that the hoof wall has a structure and every time you rasp off, you're taking some of that away, my hoof walls and my entire hoof capsule become more strong. It's just stronger. And all I have to take away is flares, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that make a big change. They may not look that pretty aesthetically, but functionally, I think they're way better.
You're well ahead, yes. Yeah, and it's funny because when you dress them that way, then learn the anatomy and change your approach, it takes so long that change come into play, but you can actually see it growing down. Like you see the stronger wall.
The difference, Yeah, and then if you go through the certifications, that's one of the things that I see that they are changing. Like they are more about like, do not overdress the foot. Like, they really are stressing on that. They are like, we don't want to see rasp marks like above the nails line. Like they don't want to see rasp marks on the coronary band for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good teaching.
Yeah. Instilling some good values in folks. Now, when did you begin your certification journey and how did that go? Because you have more letters behind your name than letters in your name.
Yeah. 2015, I was working and always thinking about getting certified, but I never make the time for that. And 2014, I got an offer to go to shoe horses to Dubai, to Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And they keep going back, yeah, you are coming, you're not. And at the end, they were like, well, you are not certified. We cannot prove that you know how to shoe a horse. And I was like, how you will say that? I was pretty upset about it. But then they have the right, because I didn't have anything to show that I was prepared. So that's when I was like, I need to get certified. At that point, all I knew was the certified farrier and the journeyman. I thought that was it.
Right.
And once I got into that, everybody was telling me about the endorsements and then the worship food company and then the feeds. So I want more. It's pretty much an addiction.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Some people, they like to compete to get better. I really, I find on the certifications, I like it and I want to do it.
Yeah. And that was kind of the route I took too, that you do get hooked. You do one and then you think this is the hardest thing I'll ever do. And then you finish it and then you're kind of like, there's something else.
There's more.
Yeah.
It's been like, I wouldn't say any of the certifications were easy.
No.
When you are taking the certification, it's really, really hard. Once you pass it, you can be like, well, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
But it was hard.
Yeah, we do have that tendency to, when you look back on things, you tend to look at it on a more positive
Minimize
light.
it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The nostalgia.
But they were not.
Yeah. So you did your CF and your CJF.
Yeah.
And then what came next? And how did you make the decision as to which you were going to take next?
When I was done with my CJF, I was like, I want more. And at that point, I heard about the AWCF. And I started trying to see how my CJF was going to allow me to do that. And I thought I was going to be able to do it like next day. And Travis Burns, he's like, no, you need to wait for 2 years. But in the meantime, he's the one that told me, like, you can do the therapeutic endorsement.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I started looking into that. And that's when I met Chris and Cody, actually.
Oh,
that was
okay.
2017 that I come here to the school to do a clinic and start with the feeds. We just stay in touch after that.
Yeah.
And I keep going with the certifications.
Okay. And for your AW, you took that here in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay.
In Kentucky.
Right. Okay. And what was your preparation like for that? I seem to ask this question a lot of AWs, and it might be more for my benefit than anybody else's, but how did you balance work, life, and practicing and preparing
at that
for
point,
that?
priority was the test.
Right.
I put it that was up front. So I organized everything around that. I have to do clinics in order to get ready, and I need practice time in order to get ready. So that was what I put up first. And my work, everyday work, pretty much become practice for the AWCF. So
Right.
at that point, you can see like straight bars, hair bars, lift shoe bars everywhere. Like most of my horses were wearing front and hinds bars, the ones that I was able to. But
Right,
yeah, I prioritized my preparation for that.
Okay.
That took, just for the WCF, it was 2 years for that.
Right. And would you do runs at the horses, or would
No.
you just pre-build the shoes and then apply them?
I did a couple of runs at the horse, but without timing myself.
Yeah.
I never practiced with the clock.
Right.
I always just practice. But mostly I was making the shoes at the shop and bringing the shoes to the horse. And there was horses that I already knew the horse and the shape, so I was trying to keep that in my mind and try.
As you were building the
Yes,
shoe?
I was building.
Okay.
So that was the way I did it.
Right. Other than the bar shoes, would you hand make other shoes for the horses you were working on?
Well,
Because you were focused so much on bar
I'm
shoes.
pretty black and white. Whenever I'm like when I was doing my journeyman, the only two shoes that existed in the world were plain stamps and straight bar. that was it. There was no practice for other shoes. When I was getting ready for the AWCF, every now and then I was like sick of making straight bars,
Mm-hmm.
so I just make open heels, 3/4 fuller.
Okay.
Like just regular stock shoes that I can use.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, whenever I practice, I really like to make shoes that are going to go on feet.
Yeah.
I always practice pairs.
Right. Okay. I think it wraps your brain around it just a little bit better too, right? To build it for a horse.
And I think there's parts of any test that you can practice on your everyday work.
Mm-hmm.
Trimming and finishing and shaping is just what you're going to do every day. So, and 3/4, at the end of the day, you are making either a hind or front. So if you can make a good 3/4 fuller front or a good 3/4 fuller hind, that's going to end up in your bars. So it's just practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I always practice with that test in my mind. Like everything was about the test.
Right.
And I make the time for reading every morning. I do book in the morning and then I do practice through the day.
Okay. Gotcha. Now you have your sights set on the next step of that journey, the FW, right?
I want to go for that. I want to finish, right? It's just it's unfinished. So I would like to get my fellowship. I want to get that. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have to do differently in your preparation for that? What has changed?
For me, the big thing about the fellowship is that you have to write a thesis, an original thesis, and I am not good at writing. Like if you speak with Chris, he's like, well, that will take you like hour and a half to write that, because he's used to sit on the computer and write.
Right. Yeah.
So I am pretty much spinning to start that, to get everything together, to do the study and write that down. That's pretty much my thing now. After that, finish the preparation for the test, but that's the main thing now.
Okay. Really cool. I look forward to seeing that part of your journey.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time I've had somebody from your country on, or even just South America, what is shoeing like there? Like I've heard all kinds of different interpretations as to, I've heard that farriery isn't looked upon as respectfully maybe in some of the countries. They don't get paid as much, and education isn't as big.
Well, no, education is not really big. There's no schools down there. There's competition is not really well organized. I find myself that I think anywhere you go in the world, you can make a decent living shoeing horses.
Right. Okay.
Down there in Argentina, we can have a good living. There's many guys that do really good work. We are mainly polo horses. That's our biggest horse sport. It's huge. It's just like shoeing horses. They're still horses, right? It's just
Yep.
you get some wild ones, some bad behaved ones. Supplies wise, yeah, we are missing a lot. But
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah, that's pretty much because of the economy of the country.
Okay.
And I see that I was in Mexico, and I think they're a little better than us, but it's the same. Chile is the same. It's pretty much supply-wise, it's hard.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, you need to find a way to do things that you don't need to do here.
Right.
Yeah, like if you need to glue on a shoe over there, that's gonna be hard. Because,
Really?
Yeah, getting the equilocks is just not easy.
So I imagine when you come home from a trip to the U.S., you gotta.
I took some equilocks, but not long ago I have a problem at the airport with the police because they say you cannot fly with that, and it wasn't fun. So no, I'm not.
You're not doing that anymore.
No, I'm not doing that anymore. No.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't fun.
And you've actually said over this past few days a couple stories about just even the mail system
Yeah.
in your country. Stuff arrives not in the box anymore, and
We have a really corrupted system. So anything that goes through customs from international, chances are you only get the box. If you are lucky.
right,
There's some stuff that you cannot get. I wouldn't try to get it, at least.
right, yeah, because it'd be too risky.
Yeah.
And then, are there local supply shops, or do you have to travel or get things shipped?
No, you can have some suppliers. Where I live at, there's no suppliers.
Okay.
So, like nails, I mostly buy nails and rasp. Then down there, I do everything on handmaids.
Do you?
Okay. Yeah. I don't do much supplies. Myself, like tools and everything, that comes with me from the States on my luggage. Any tool that I want, I will buy here.
Right. Okay. How far would you have to travel, or would the average farrier in your country have to travel to kind of do work?
Some guys, they travel, I will say average, it's between an hour every day, but they have some customers that may take you like 6 hours of a drive.
Oh, okay.
But I see that being like that here too. Like you have some guys that they do really heavy traveling here in the States, and some that don't. It's not a big difference.
Same as everywhere.
Yeah, same as everywhere.
Okay. And it sounds too, you've shod horses in a lot of different countries just through.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. Yeah.
Have there been any standout places for you other than the U.S.? And
Well, I've been lucky to really travel the U.S., and I really think it's a great country. I've been in Canada, I've been in Spruce Meadows, and that's just an amazing facility. The one that I never thought I was going to go, it was Jamaica.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went there twice actually. That was quite different. that was another world. But I was happy that I was there. I went to Mexico. We actually went to Mexico with Chris.
Oh, okay.
And Mike Garrett was there with us too. Chile, Uruguay, everywhere I've been, it's been nice. I mean, you have good places. I think horse people, they like to have places that are nice to be at.
Yeah.
As long as there's horses.
Yeah. As long as the horses can hang out with.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to cover, or even advice for people who are starting out in this job? I mean, we've met quite a few folks who are fairly young in their career this week.
If I think about people that I met, I would say many of the people that I look up to, I have met them in clinics. And most of them at the Gregory's. I have been at the Heartland many times, and I met you here. like Robbie Miller, Fabio Furquim, even Dusty Franklin. I met him here.
Right. Yeah.
And that was something that really stand up for me, because the first time I came here to do a clinic, that's when I met Dusty. And he wasn't here as a clinician. He was here as a student.
Right.
And he was Dusty Franklin, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And for me, that was like, if this guy is coming here he was getting ready for the AWCF at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if this guy is coming here to get help by Chris and Cody, well, I may be on the right place, right? It's just,
yeah.
if he's here, I should be here more often.
Right.
So to me, we really need to get more clinics and try to train ourselves. And we need to find the people that we like and try to stick with them. Like, I think Chris, Cody, Dusty, Robbie Miller, I really respect those guys. I really like to spend as much time as I can with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you always learn.
Yeah, you can't
They
help
always
it.
have something new about it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but
But they do manage to.
yeah, and I think that's they know so much that they keep thinking about what else they can learn. Where they are always looking where to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what makes them that important for us to train people. They know how to teach you, how to train you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for me why I keep coming here. It's not because I get along with them. It's just
Yep.
yeah, you know, Chris.
So doing clinics, yeah,
That's what works for me. I know some people really like to compete, and I think that's great. I never got hooked into competition.
yeah.
I really got hooked into getting to clinics and learn, and you meet so much people on the
Yeah.
clinics.
Oh,
It's just, you have a good time.
Yep.
At least I've been having a good time.
Maybe they aren't, but yeah. I always equate it to almost like going into battle, especially this week, the sort of pre-cert.
Yeah. This is just solid and fun.
Yeah, everybody's kind of under the same stresses that
Yeah,
you are,
yeah.
and yeah.
And one thing, like we had the book translated to Spanish, and that was
Thanks to you.
because of a clinic.
Oh, really?
That came out, yeah, that came out on a clinic. The first time I came here, I asked Chris, like, when are you getting the book translated? And he's like, I have a guy working on that. And this is the first time I met Chris. He's like, will you look into what I have done and tell me what you think? So the next day he printed what he had, and we start working with that.
Mm-hmm.
I start working with the guy, and then the guy in Colombia, he just disappeared. A couple of months after that, I took over that, and we end up with the book. And it happens because of a clinic.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it wouldn't happen.
right. A lot of magic happens when all those people to come together.
Yeah, it's fun.
Something I was kind of curious to ask you, what do you think that drive is to keep getting better at this?
I don't think my work is great all the time. I keep questioning myself. And the more you learn, the more questions you have, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's for anything that you do. I don't know. I think it's fun. I like to study. I like to read. I like to try to learn. So it's pretty much a hobby.
It all falls in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
This portion of the podcast is called the Stratum Tectorium. These are the short answer, surface stuff questions, but it's okay if the guest wants to go deeper. Enjoy. So, what is your favorite book?
I don't read novels.
No?
No,
Okay.
I read, I really like Chris Gregory's book. I really like to read Adams.
Adam's Lameness?
I know that will put me on a weird spot because it's not a novel, but that's a book I really, really like.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite brand of nails?
K-Well has been the nail that I use the most.
Okay.
I really like Liberties.
Okay. What shoe sizes do you generally have to stock the most of?
Right now, because of the horses I'm doing, it's number 2 and 3, or like St. Croix number 2 or Libero.
Yeah.
It used to be O and 1s when I was doing a lot of polo horses.
Okay.
So
Right.
right now it's 2 and 3.
And with the polo horses, what type of shoe did you mostly use with them?
You need like a concave. I was using the light rims on the front and the light heels on the hind.
Yeah, I haven't had much experience with polo horses.
Well,
so
you need traction.
yeah. Traction and not much to take off too, right? Like
Yeah.
not a lot of expansion.
Yeah.
What's your favorite make of rasp?
I really like whenever there's a new rasp, I try to
You
use
give it a try?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I find that the first couple of batches are sharp.
They get you hooked and then
Yes, and then it's like, oh, we need a new one.
So what are you on to right now?
I'm going back to the white tang,
Okay.
the Heller.
Yep.
I tried the white ones, but not loving them.
Okay. Do you have a dream farrier rig?
Something that I can open up and be shooting fast.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of like Steven said there. 2 minutes and he's under the horse,
that's what
right?
I would like. Yeah,
Yeah.
just unload the anvil and
Way you
go to work.
Favorite rounding hammer?
I will say the big face of Shimpur,
Okay. Yep. Do you have a favorite type of bar stock to work with?
3/8 by 1.
There we go. Favorite pastime after work?
Forge. It's for real.
I somehow knew that was your
It's for
answer.
real.
Next thing on your bucket list.
Oh, the fellowship of the Worshipful Company.
And what are you going to do once you get that? What will your
Well,
next
you don't
step
ask
be?
that because that's the end of the world.
I
right
know,
now.
but
that's the end of the world. After that, you get like a week of depression because like I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
and then I
You come
gonna
up with
find
something
Yeah,
new.
something new.
Favorite brand of cake shoe?
Kirkut.
Ideal number of horses to shoe all around in one day.
6.
And you always work on your own, right? You said?
Yes, I always work on my own. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite anvil?
Oof. 200 pounds. Scott. I really like the Scott anvils.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Favorite inspirational quote?
I really like the one that it says that if you think that you can't do it,
Right.
you're maybe right. If you think that you can do it, you may be right too.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Yeah. Do you have a dog back home that you work with?
A dog? Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. It's a big, I don't know how you call it in English, but it's a big dog.
Oh, really?
Really big, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't work alone then?
Yeah. That's true.
If you're stumped on a case or need backup, who do you call?
Well, Cody and Chris are main guys. I try to not to be too annoying with Robbie Miller.
Yeah.
I think he's a great guy I looked up to.
Yeah. He is a great guy. Do you have a favorite shoe or package for a mystery lameness when you don't have a...
Stray bars.
Yeah.
That's
Solve a lot of problems.
If I don't know what's going on and the vet is like, I don't know, but we need to do something, that's gonna be my first
Okay.
3/4 fuller stray bar.
Yeah. Okay. What do you use as your planner?
Piece of paper.
Really?
And a pencil.
Yeah. Yep.
I call it the iPad.
My pad. Yeah. Favorite method of soothing aches and pains?
Oh, I am a vet, so I go to drugs.
Great answer. Favorite drink?
Anything, water, soda, whatever. It's just, I quit alcohol a long time ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite genre of music?
I don't have just one kind of music. I listen a lot of country.
Do you?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Now, would that be in English or?
In English, yeah. That's when I come here to the States, I didn't speak English. So I was like, I need to learn in order to make a living. So I shut off Spanish and I start everything in
Everything
English. And music was a big thing.
It really helped.
If you listen to the same radio station every day, they play the same songs at the same time every day.
No kidding.
So it's just repetition. At some point, you understand something.
Yeah, right.
It's like chewing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, repetition. Yeah. Do you work out?
No, lazy for that. Just bought a bike.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's sitting by the wall.
Now, would that be for going on the road or like trails?
I think it's gonna be to go from my house to the shop, which is like a 3 minutes walk.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you got to start somewhere. What would you have been if not a farrier?
Veterinarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the COVID question, who would you want to be locked in a shop with for a month?
I will say those three guys, Cody, Chris, and Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're going to be...
That'd be a good
They're going to
month.
be locked down for a little bit longer.
Well, thank you very much for doing this, and thanks for coming and helping. I've learned so much off of you just in a few days, and everybody appreciates.
Oh, thank
what
you.
you're doing.
I'm glad I can help, and I'm glad we were able to do it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. But,
No kidding.
But let me be honest, if you send the microphone to Argentina, we wouldn't have a microphone.
Well, now I know why you were trying to avoid me.
Yeah.
This good on you portion was sent in by my friend Brendan Paulson, CF. He wanted to nominate Rachel Richardson, CF, of Southern Vermont. And these are his words. She works so hard every day, keeping a long list of clients happy while juggling home life with her daughter Adeline. She does a lot of work for Gertis Equine Rescue, which I apologize if that was pronounced wrong, and is such an asset to the Vermont Farriers Association, going above and beyond to keep the association running lively and smooth. Personally, she's a go-to when I've got questions on a case and or need advice. She also will ride with and help me on occasion and has definitely been a supporter in my certification journey, cheering me on. So there you go, Rachel. Thank you very much for doing what you do. Well, thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other out there. We'll talk soon.